So let's get started. Okay.
Okay, cool. So, hi guys. I'm a Flicker. I was about to say, for those who don't know me, I'm Malikye. For those who know me, I'm Malikye. I'm a creative tech major and should have been art minor. I came to creative tech while I was in quarantine, actually. I was a dual degree engineering physics major at the time, and in quarantine, I figured out I hated physics, so I left and I came here. Other info about me: I like arts and crafts, games, pets, and I do not like to wake up early. So why am I here in front of y'all today? My theme is the exploration and expression of self through digital art and physical crafts. So my three projects that I'll be talking to you about, one is an animation, the other is a sewing project, and the third is a 2D digital art project, and then we'll talk about my capstone. So my first project is Devastation. I made it for a hackathon. You will also see that a lot of these are hackathons because because I don't have a lot of free time outside of class, so I use my classes to experiment with things. So I took hackathon 4 times. But this is an animation project. I made it in Procreate and iMovie. And my inspiration for this is Devastator. He's a Decepticon from the second Transformers movie. And a little inspiration came from TikTok, because I would get all these cool Transformers edits at like 2 in the morning. And then I would get storyboards of people drawing out their favorite scenes in movies. And I was like, that's so cool. I want to do that. I've never done that in my life. So, of course, I did it for a hackathon. I did a little hello worlding. I wanted to do about a 1-minute scene. I did the math, and it would take about 5 days. I told Chris that. He was like, okay, try for a 10-second clip. That would take about 18 hours. So I did a little more practice, and then I came to the hackathon and managed to draw out 141 frames in 3 hours and 40 minutes, and then spent the last 20 minutes editing, adding sounds, and whatnot. It was only a 6-second clip, but as you can see the comparison, I think it was really cool. It was weird to see it separately, but it coming together was like, yo, that's so cool. It was very fun. My hands hurt like hell, but it was my first complete animation, and it gave me a lot of respect to animators, because I would never complain about an episode ever again taking too long to come out. But it really opened my interest into animation. And my second project will be wear protection. A little preface on this. This is, I keep forgetting I have this. This is the mask I made in 2020 for CRT 101, Intro to Prototyping. I think it was supposed to be a sewing project. I don't know why there's a wireframe and it's held up by like tape, glue, and prayers. This was 3 years ago. I don't really remember, but I do remember that it started me off into my sewing journey, and I've been sewing for about 3 years now. So earlier this semester, I decided to challenge myself with making an upgrade. So this is CDC guidelines. This was like, to me, this was my sewing and costume design challenge. I was like, this is gonna be a fire. There was a rave literally the next day. I was like, I'm gonna make this mask. It's gonna be so cool. And this is actually what I finished during the hackathon. And this is what I finished between the hackathon and the rave. Oh, so CDC guidelines can be worn as half mask or a full mask. The top half attaches with Velcro to the bottom mask, and the other mask attaches to another face mask, because the normal Plague Doctor face mask straps would not fit over my big head. As you do. But this hackathon was very panicky for me. It went normal. I made a little paper template, cut out the fabric. That wasn't the big deal. The issue was when I started sewing. I am very jumpy. Sometimes I don't pay attention, and I messed up the layering of the fabric 3 times in a row. I did the same thing every single time, and I ripped it apart, kept trying again, and I could not get it for the life of me. But finally, just had to take like 5 minutes to slow down and take a break, which is something we should all do sometimes, or else you're just going to keep messing up like I did during this hackathon. I probably could have gotten more of it done if I didn't, but it still turned out pretty good, as you just saw, and I was happy with how it turned out. There we go. All right. My third project is the Start of a New Day. This was actually for the senior exit hackathon. This was a 2D art made in Procreate. And to be honest, it was very on the nose. My hackathon Hello World was 2 days before, like in the morning, me just looking up references. I didn't really know what I wanted to do for the portfolio, or for the, what was the word? Proposal. That's the word. For the proposal. And I kind of came into the hackathon and was like, I'm just going to wing it. And that I did. So if we go through the process, I started out with like a rough sketch. There is like a wireframe of like human anatomy in there, but I guess you can't see it with this lighting. But then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a little landscaping work. I scrapped that halfway through because I really didn't like it. And then I continued on. I added some base color, some highlights, and lots of shading, because the premise of these two characters was that the world that they're in has no color except for the color that's on their bodies. So let me focus a lot on shading and lighting, which I was like, let's go, I want to do that anyways. But as we got to the last like 10-20 minutes of the hackathon, I was like, I don't have a background still. And I started freaking out. I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was like, I was so invested into lighting and shading, or lighting and shadows, I was like, why don't I just make a background that emphasizes that? So I chose a window, and the sun is rising in front of the window. I was like, that works. And it let me focus a little more on highlights, like as you can see at the top of her hair. And I was like, I don't know. I felt like it really put it all together at the end. Like just that frantic rush, and then just seeing it at the end, I was like, no, maybe it isn't all that bad to go at the last second. Please plan out your work in advance. This is just a case scenario for me, but sometimes it does work out if you know what you're doing. And I hope to eventually work these two into an animation, but it'll take some time in advance. Next, our capstone. Whoa! What the hell did I do this entire semester? If you saw in the Discord, you probably know. Don't, it's a shame. I was here like every day. Anyways, I made a symptom tracker for POTS. So what is POTS, would you say? Is it the thing you put on a stove? No, it is not. POTS stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia Syndrome. It is a blood flow and neurological disorder that affects people the most when they are transitioning from a laying down position to a sitting or standing position. And the faster that transition goes, usually the worse the side effects are. It affects about 1 to 3 million people in America right now, and it's predominantly in women and younger adults. So why would someone need a symptom tracker for this? I would like to give out a little story of mine, and it goes back to when I had COVID. So if you don't know, I had COVID. I was gone for like half a semester, went to Chicago, almost died. It was great. Anyways, I got better, obviously, I'm here. But after a while, like a few months, I noticed that I was starting to get symptoms that were just not me. I was like, this is okay. But it kept getting worse. Like I would start not waking up for class, or I'd be constantly tired, even if I get like 10, 12 hours of sleep. I'd start getting like numbness all over my body. It was a mess. I went to the doctor. I was like, hey, I actually had a friend with narcolepsy at the time, and they were like, hey, this sounds a lot like what I have. Maybe you should go and check that out. So I did. Went to the doctor and was like, hey, I have narcolepsy. They put me down for insomnia. I didn't go back there. But to say the least, TikTok actually showed me that something called POTS exists, and I did a little research on it, and it fit on the nose. Like every symptom, I was like, wow. I should probably do something about that. So I decided to make my capstone about it, to see if I have this, or if other people have this. Because if I had this problem at the doctor, other people have probably had this at the doctor. And to say that like that's not the doctor's problem or problem with me, but it was a lack of information for both of us that led to this problem. And I hope my capstone can reduce that lack of information, and it'll help people better. Like it won't. We just don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen anymore. People can get hurt in that scenario, and it's not good for anyone. But I did a little survey and was asking people if they would be interested and why. And this was a mother that had said that they wanted to understand their son better, and that they would advocate for their son to their doctor better. And I was like, that's it. That's exactly what I want my capstone to be about. So I went with it, and I went in full force. So here's a little view of my symptom tracker. This is a login page. You use your username and password. The password thing does work. I'm not showing it to you though. Uh, if you don't have an account, you make an account and will it log in? So yeah, you log in. And then once you log in, you'll be met with a form. So the first thing is the symptoms. It's just a list of the most common symptoms. There is an other option if the symptom doesn't match anything on the list. You have, can you move? The ratings go from 0 to 10 with how disruptive this is, with 0 being it's fine, I can ignore it, I can go about my day, to 10 being I'm literally paralyzed on the floor, call an ambulance. And you can add a little note about any extra information. There's a character limit, and once you submit it, you've probably seen it like 6 times. Do it, do it, do it. Boom, tells you, wow, symptom recorded successfully. So then you can go and check your log. And it shows the symptom, the rating, the notes, and a timestamp of when you submitted it. So to like gauge how well I did this capstone, I based it off of my design goals. And my first design goal was that this project should be able to create an accurate log of people and their symptoms. And for the symptom log, that was pretty simple. It just shows the entries you put in. But I did have to I made a profile page because doctors would like to know that. And I also made an update your profile option because people change, symptoms change, your knowledge about that changes, and thought it would be good to add it in so they can update it, their doctor can update it as time goes on. My design goal 2. This project should help a person figure out if they should talk to a doctor. So this design goal was more informational, so I made a little talk info page. And it comes complete with the causes, symptoms, coexisting conditions, treatments, and how to get tested. And there's a little works cited page at the bottom. If I get to it, yeah, wow. And it goes to a page of everything I used, just in case they want to do more research on their own. And design goal 3. This project should be formatted for a variety of devices and disability accessible if possible. I chose this because lots of people with POTS have vision or memory issues. So if I made a jank, cluttered website, they probably wouldn't be able to use it. And they might forget what they're doing in the middle of using it. So for this, I looked into a little bit of ADA guidelines. I mainly chose level 8 because the further you go in, the more work you have to do for a website. And at level 3, I could spend years and it might not even be fully complete because they'll just change so rapidly. So we did a little less of that. But I did choose to do like vision issues, so I made sure to get a color checker that actually used ADA guidelines with the ratio. And as you can see, I'm just that good. All 3. But yeah, and the device types was interesting. Oh my goodness. Why are there so many iPhone types and why are they all different in terms of website formatting? Like, I gave this to my sister and I sent it back and she was like, hey, I can't get in anymore. She was like, what do you mean? She sent me a picture and like the buttons were all crammed behind the words. But on my Samsung phone, it was normal. So I had to go back through and do a lot of debugging with her. She helped me a lot on this project, just picking out things that were wrong that I couldn't see because I didn't have the right phone, and DevTools didn't show me because it doesn't show the recent phones. So this was a learning experience for sure. But yeah, also if you switched from landscape to portrait mode, the buttons would disappear behind the form. I had to fix that too. All those late nights in the lab. Well, it's alright though. I did it. I got it done. You can see they're not behind anything. You love it. Woo! So yeah, the results of my capstone, I had found 19 people at the start of it, and out of those 19, 12 people said that they were interested and planned on using the symptom tracker. I checked my little admin page at the end of this, and 9 people made accounts, me included. Um, I made a little survey and sent it out to the people that kept using it. Not everyone responded, but the people that did respond were all positive. They liked the layout of the website. They said it was easy to track symptoms, which was like my whole thing. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, let's go!" Which one was my sister? I think it was this one. But yeah, this one made me happy. It's like, yeah, user friendly. That's exactly what I wanted. I spent like 3 donuts of shame trying to get that alone. I'm so proud. But yeah, now that capstone is finished and that I am graduating, I hope, uh, I need to figure out where I'm staying. Where I'm staying because it'll probably be either Georgia or California. My sister's out in California at college, but everyone else is in Georgia. But my mother plans on moving to where? I don't know. But I want to look into jobs at makerspaces because I really like the energy at Hackberry, and I'd be very sad if this was the last time I got to experience it. And if I have free time, I would love to learn Blender on a better computer because mine's going to explode in a second, and practice animation a little bit more.